Now let's break down our next story of the day and discuss the latest from Max Keiser. He recently spoke with his fearless partner, the one and only Stacy Herbert at Pacific Bitcoin Conference. And I'm going to give you some of the highlights from their recent speech, as well as his most recent prediction of $220,000 per Bitcoin incoming here in the short term. So let's break this down, shall we? And shout out to the high priest right here, the one and only Max Keiser. Undisputed heavyweight champion of the world when it comes to Bitcoin. Bitcoin proponent and El Salvador President Nayib Bukele's digital asset advisor, Max Keiser, recently made bold predictions on the Bitcoin price action. In a tweet shared on his X account, Keiser stated the Bitcoin will experience an explosive rise to reach $220,000 per coin in the short term. Now, while no specific short-term date is given, how do you define short-term, fam? Let me know. For me, short-term would be 3 to 6 months. I'd say long-term longer than a year, but that's just my thoughts. I want to know what you think. Notably, he has not provided a specific time frame for the anticipated surge of the Bitcoin value. This statement was prompted by a CNBC article about the ongoing market downturn driven by concerns surrounding the economy and inflation. Here was the article from CNBC. Something is breaking in financial markets. Here's what's behind the sell-off, in which Max responded, as predicted, all hell breaking loose. Bitcoin, $220,000 short term in play. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this prediction. Now let's discuss Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. In a subsequent tweet, Keiser reiterated his bold prediction that Bitcoin would ultimately reach that staggering $220,000 price level. He believes the central banks would engage in extensive money printing, an action he likened to creating a wall of money, visible even from outer space. And as a result, people will seek refuge in Bitcoin as a hedge against the growing specter of inflation, according to Max. Now, Keiser particularly drew attention to the erosion of the US dollar's purchasing power at a very rapid pace. He illustrated this point by referencing a personal experience where he spent $84 on an ordinary hamburger. Good Lord. Comparing it to a time when $100 for the same meal would have seemed comical. Keiser has also maintained an optimistic stance on Bitcoin, calling it the currency of the resistance since 2011. He coined that term and the biggest story of the decade. And furthermore, he consistently contended that a financial crisis would be the catalyst for a significant surge in the Bitcoin price. He also stated previously that Bitcoin's adoption and value would soar in tandem with the collapse of the traditional banking institutions. And he hit the nail on the head with that, because earlier this year, how many major banking institutions collapsed? And as a result, Bitcoin responded very bullishly, literally climbing from the bottom of 15,700 end of last year, hitting an annual high thus far this year of roughly $32,000. Now, with his latest optimistic statements, Keiser joined a list of analysts who have recently come out optimistic about the Bitcoin price. In a recent interview, which I covered here on the show, BitMEX CEO Arthur Hayes expressed a bullish approach to the Bitcoin price growth. He predicted a remarkable valuation of $750,000 to $1 million per Bitcoin within the next 3 years by the year 2026. Send it. Let's go. However, Hayes believes the Bitcoin will reach $70,000 in the short term by 2024. So ultimately, Max is more bullish short term, but long term, they're both bullish as all hell, as Max has also been calling for a multiple $1 million Bitcoin price action. Now let's discuss Bitcoin versus inflation. There is a divide on views on how rising inflation will affect the Bitcoin price. And I must point out that there are a lot of channels, especially in crypto, extremely bearish. I would consider them perma-bears, because regardless of what's happening in the market, they're always calling for Bitcoin to go lower. A couple of perma-bears that come to my mind, Nicholas Merton of Data Dash, as well as Sareth Holloway, or if that's, I'm pronouncing his name right, correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, yeah, so let me know if you feel the Bitcoin price action right now is more bullish or bearish. Virtually meaning, do you think the price action will continue to climb up towards the end of this year, leading into the halving of 2024? Or do you think we're likely to correct even lower? Let me know your thoughts in the comments right down below. And now for some of the highlights of what Max Keiser shared at Pacific Bitcoin. I know we had a lot of the Crypto News Alerts fam there, which was awesome. I know Coinfather was there. I know J-Dub the Laker was there. Here's some of the I watched the speech. I wasn't there, but I transcribed some of my favorite highlights. So I want to read that to you. Here's what Max had to share at Pacific Bitcoin. Since they made Bitcoin legal tender, we wanted to live in the country that had Bitcoin as legal tender because we were always on the vanguard. Yes, in trying to push the envelope and be where the action is for Bitcoin, and so that's where it is. The Bitcoin citadel is El Salvador, and El Salvador is kind of the capital of Bitcoin. Preach. He also shared a little later on in the speech, if you want to live in America, move to El Salvador, because they basically asked him and Stacy, why exactly did you guys move to El Salvador? And especially at that time when it was considered one of the most dangerous countries in the world, right? So he continues, if you want the Constitution of Bill of Rights, move to El Salvador. If you want to feel the freedom of expression, move to El Salvador. That's the America. The Statue of Liberty is now a volcano, and it's on the tropics, and it's a guy named President Bukele running the joint. And I suggest everyone who is feeling downtrodden and persecuted and not able to be who they really want to be, get the out of this ish hole and move to El Salvador. That's my recommendation to you. So there you have it, fam. El Salvador, long live the savior. How many of you have been to El Salvador or planning on traveling and visiting Bitcoin country? Let me know in the comments right down below.